So far this is all very exciting, but we've yet to see how any of it can be used to accomplish any real results. All that changes here though. Let's start with diet. How can you use all this data in order to improve your diet and guarantee weight loss? Because you really can guarantee weight loss if you get serious about health tracking. This isn't hyperbole and it isn't any fancy new fad, it's just simple math. Basically, fat loss comes down to one simple rule. In order to lose weight and burn fat, you need to make sure that you burn more calories than you consume. Therefore, if you're burning off more calories than you're taking in, you will create a deficit and you will start to get slimmer, more toned, and more lean. Now, at this point, people might be tempted to point out that not all calories are made equal, or that they can also lose weight by keeping their blood sugar levels down. Is this true? Well, that massively depends on who you ask. It probably is true that not all the calories you consume reach your blood, and things like the thermogenic effect do play a role. But the impact of these factors is also likely to be very small. And they're even smaller when you compare them to the huge impact of calories. No matter what else is true, if you eat fewer calories than you burn, then you'll lose fat. Simple, straightforward, and non-negotiable. So, with that in mind, there are just a few metrics you need to record to absolutely guarantee that you lose weight. And these are your BMR and BMA, like we talked about in the last video, your caloric intake, and your exercise. Now, when it comes to tracking the calories that you're eating, you can use a large number of different apps. MyFitnessPal is one of the most popular options and will sync up with a ton of apps like Microsoft's Health app for the Band 2. When you combine this data, you can then see how many calories are coming in, how many are being burned, and what the difference is. Otherwise, you can also use apps that come with various fitness trackers. S-Health is available for Samsung devices and the Gear Fit, while Microsoft Health also has calorie monitoring capabilities. To measure your caloric intake, you simply need to look at the back of your food and find the kcal. This means kilocalorie, and this is what most of us are referring to when we measure calories. Each time you eat something, check out the calories and then input the amount you consumed. And you can ask in restaurants and you can look on websites belonging to cafes and takeaways. Now, in some cases, apps will have the calories for the food you consume already inputted by another user, and that means you only need to find it from a list. Things you eat regularly will find their way to the top of the list, and you can then add their calories easily with a swipe and a tap. Meanwhile, you can use a device with 24-hour heart rate monitoring, such as the Microsoft Band 2 or the TomTom Spark, in order to get an accurate reading of how many calories you've burned. If you don't have one of those, then you can just look at your AMR for a rough average. Now, you might find that you typically eat 2,300 calories and burn 2,000. Now, 2,000 is an average AMR for most of us. What this means is that you have a surplus of 300 calories at the end of each day, and, where do you think that goes? That's right, it's stored as fat. Meanwhile, if you consume 1,700 calories and manage to burn 2,300, you now have a deficit of 600 calories. This means your body will need to burn fat just to make it through the day, and you'll lose weight. As you collect more data, you can then look at what you're eating that's adding the most calories and how much fat you're burning typically through your training. What you'll find is that some clear ways to shift the balance present themselves. Forget that cappuccino, or swap it for an Americano on the way to work, and you just saved yourself 100 calories. Get off a bus stop earlier and power walk into work, and you just burned an extra 100 calories. That's 200 calories back, which might just be enough to help you start losing weight again. Likewise, you can also see what's working in the gym. Maybe you notice you burn more calories when you're hitting the heavy bag instead of running. Simple solution: hit the heavy bag longer. Logging your health is what makes it possible for you to approach this change in a scientific, bulletproof manner. A fitness tracker isn't necessary, although it will help you to see which parts of your day are particularly good or particularly bad for you in terms of calories burned.